My camera's not on. There we go. Um, so, did I do that from the right computer? Yeah. All right. So we're gonna have some fun today. We will remove this so you guys can see behind me. There we go. So, um, I'm gonna say going live in Discord. Social announcement. Copy link. Yo, we're live. Copy link. So normally we haven't done office hours in a while, and usually the issue with office hours and doing it through Discord, like we can do it through Discord and love it to do it through Discord, but not we'll have to kind of keep playing with this, and as people have questions, drop them in Discord, drop them wherever, however you'd like to do it. But we're gonna be having fun today. Um, I don't know if anybody knows Steve from the forums. Steve's one of our engineers, and he and I were talking yesterday. He's like, one of the things that makes my life easier, we see a lot in the chat room, is in the Discord forums, is converting curl into a node red. Um, like a node red flow, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I mean, I've done that before and things like that, but it would be really good content if we could actually like document it so you could share it more. And we're gonna kind of investigate that today. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in chat if that's not something you're interested in. And again, this is like typical office hours, but I like to have a theme of things I'm working on. So yeah, drop them in chat. We'll have fun. If not, I'm gonna proceed. So the first thing we want to do is identify this like curl statement that we're gonna want, or this like data that we're going to capture from something. So kind of spent some time. I thought I was gonna grab temperature, but I was like, we always do temperature. So honestly, I don't have an idea of what I want to capture from like a website or web page. Maybe it's it'd be good. Maybe this would be kind of fun. It'd be simple hacker news. And hacker news. That's cool. Okay, so I'm gonna inspect it. And like honestly, so I'm not like a full blown developer. So I was like, okay, so some of these things that you get and use inside of like especially front end stuff, like you use inside of Chrome to kind of identify things. I'm like, I don't really know as much about that as I probably should. And that kind of showed through because he's like, oh yeah, you just go in here, and I think he said fetch. Let's see if we can network, and you highlight how to capture API calls in Chrome. There we go. And when I saw this, open Chrome, network tab, preserve log option, verify that preserve log option is enabled. Let's just double this. Right, verify that preserving log options enabled. So let's do this, and we're looking for network tab. Verify the preserve log option is enabled. Where is the preserve? There we go. Preserve log option is enabled. Refresh the web page and or interact. And what is this? Okay, so we want to look at the response and see if we can find the information that associates to the results on the left hand page so that we can basically use Node-RED to capture this information to basically essentially function as like a web browser, so that maybe if there's some information you want to utilize from this, and you can think of this as like any type of, this can be an internal application. I mean, this is like the nitty gritty. That's like the default way of capturing. It's like basically web scraping. There's web scraping tools out there, um, but this is kind of like a little bit more rudimentary, especially when it's like data that's in a JSON format that really would parse well. You don't have to, deal with like HTML. So let's have some fun with this. Let's see if we can capture the curl response. So, perfect. And it looks like maybe this might be part of it. So show HN, and let's see if we can move this over to the right hand side and see if we can capture this data. But yeah, this is okay. Let's make sure we're looking at all the information. Page space. This is do title line. So it looks like this may not be it. This is definitely serving up the web page. And okay, there's some links. So Mobi USML. Mobi? Yes, USML. Okay, so we're getting the right. So I looked for and I saw this URL right here. It's like the tail title line, Mobi USL, and gives us the data associated with it. So if we think about this, and this is XML though, so it's not really an API. It is an API call, and let's see, copy curl. So yeah, there's your copy bash. So that's basically how you capture the curl command, so that you can convert that curl command into a Node-RED application. So that's what we're going to be doing today. It's going to be kind of fun, but we'll go along with it. So, so let's just see if there's any other options here that may. I doubt it's going to be in any other format, which is unfortunate. Okay, so we're just going to capture this, and this is like the whole web page, but that's fine. So we can come in here, and we're going to copy. We say, I think we had a copy curl command. Copy, yeah, we'll do bash. Copy as PowerShell. Shell. I wonder what that's going to look like. Ooh, that's a lot. No, we're not going to do that, because we do want to do it from a curl. So copy curl bash. Yay, what's up, Mike Katrani? It's been a while, hasn't it? Cool question. I will. Let me finish this, and we'll jump over to Abhishek for that question that you've got there. But Mechatronic. So let me finish this, and then let me. So do notepad. Okay, paste. Come on, you know how to paste, and then we'll get to that. So why didn't it copy the curl? Gosh. There we go. Okay, cool. So that's gonna be. We got a lot of headers here. Priority. Seems like a lot of headers. I hope we don't have to use all that, because some of that. Okay, so that's like where the refer and these all these other different like kind of responses to it. But looks like it's gonna be basically this top one. So um let's see what we can do here. I'll drop this. Let me see. Perfect. All right. Abhishek, I have a question. Can you take this in your upcoming podcast? Can I use Node-RED to create a desktop app for offline use? If yes, how? Can it be done with electron.js? How do I begin? Electron.js. Let's see what electron.js. Electron.js. Okay, so this is going to be an offline application. So I don't know enough about this right now to really kind of answer that question because in a way Node-RED can be an offline application in itself. I mean, it you might need online configurations in the beginning, but it can 100% go offline. And that the reason why you might need online aspects is if just to install and get everything up and running. And then essentially you can move that Node-RED folder to wherever it needs to be, spin it up. You'll have to make sure you have all the dependencies and things like that, but you can migrate how to migrate like Node-RED, migrate Node-RED, and dashboard. Nope, importing. Um, see if we can find something right here. Node-RED flows. So that's just exporting migration of flows. So migrate to flow fuse. I'm just gonna see because if that documentation might help us out. All right. So the files specifically to install the Node-RED plugin. Okay, we're not going to go this way because that does require the like in a plugin. But it really boils down to a couple of files within your configuration of Node-RED to move an application over. You'll need all the dependencies and nodes and the npm modules that are required to run said application, and you can drop those in. You can manually install them or install them by just drag and dropping. And of course, there's probably somebody on here that knows a little bit more that would probably say that like you run into problems with breaking things, but you could test it out. Will it work? Yes. If it does work, it works. So you'll migrate things over, and essentially Node-RED can run as its standalone application. And when you say the desktop application, do you mean that you want it to run within its own, like not inside of Chrome, but inside of like some other solution? I mean, it just depends on how you can like iframe it and capture the dashboard if that's what you mean by the application. It really kind of defines of what your objective is. Is this supposed to be like an HMI for like a manufacturing floor? Is this a heads up display for notification and things like that? Like what are you trying to accomplish if you want to kind of elaborate there? But until you have more questions, we'll continue moving on with the curl. So Hacker News. We got this curl statement. Let's open up a Node-RED instance and see what we can do. And I really just need to say demo new Discord. And I really hate just making a new one. I think we don't need this pharma one anymore. Yeah, we don't need it. So I want to see if we can delete this. Easy. Delete application. Yeah. Because that was just a test. Perfect. That was great. That was easy. All right, so let's go into demo. And how many instances do we have? We have 3 instances, and say we'll call this one curl fun demo. And we'll make this a medium, and we'll do Node-RED version 4.0.2 and curl fun demo. It's installing, and once this is up and running, we'll get going. But what our goal today is we have a website that we want to capture information from. Like, what is the top result? Maybe it's like doing like once we have that data in there, we're gonna search for some information that maybe we would want to capture. Like, hey, when does Node-RED pop up inside of Hacker News? Let's think about creating that, and you make a notification to say, hey, I'll send an email. Might be valuable, fun, but it kind of gives you an idea of how you can start working with other systems and reverse engineering Node-RED to use other or reverse engineering other things so you can make sure like making an application. It's kind of hacky, but it works. All right. So let's see how we have started this up. It'll be our running. Good. Good, 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 good. Get out of here. There we go. And nope, we know what we're doing. Drop an inject node on here. And then we will be doing an HTTP node request node. That's what I wanted. And hey, get out of here. And we'll do a get curl. And we're going to grab this. And I mean, that's pretty straightforward. We're just doing a get for the whole website and serving up all the information. So it's like not even doing, it's not like we're getting like a subset of JSON. So we'll try to see if we can find some other data. But this is like the first step and how to capture this information. And it is secure. See what we can get if we just do HTTP, if that works. In these headers, just see what we did get so far. It's gonna probably bark at me, but you know, so debug. Okay, there we go. There's our web page and all the information associated to it. And doesn't tell us much, but that's one way we can start capturing data from a website. Let's maybe see if we can find some more not necessarily complex, but more of like a standard JSON response. Sample website. That's what we want. Test sites. Let's look at table playground. This would be a good one. Yeah, there we go. So we will inspect and go to network. We will make sure preserve logs, and then we will refresh tables. And right, so it seems like probably what. So I guess the question is that application um, will Node-RED be living on that same computer, or are you just wanting to have like a front end that kind of looks like a tie into the dashboard? Is that what you're saying? Like a Windows executable application which can be installed on Windows. As I open it from the icon, the Node-RED dashboard opens up for the user. So really, you can have Node-RED living wherever, as long as whatever computer you're accessing. And I want to find, I'm going to search something on a different screen real quick because I feel like we had this question earlier this week. So just give me a second. So I'm just saying, and just give me a second. I'm doing stuff on my other side of things because I know this is important. I'm still figuring out your answer. And so PWA, so that's what you're wanting as a PWA. So we'll choose PWA. All right, so you're looking for PWA application, which I think is what you're basically. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're looking for that. Yeah, same computer will connect to the hardware, which is fine. It's just the PWA application itself will be pointing to itself. React PWA. Let's see where we can find more details here. The biggest contributor we saw in the release. Let's see if we get up here, docs, because I've not played with this one yet. I just need to know where I go to set things up. And all right, so it says so if I can I'll drop this in chat, and this can give you the direction to figure out what you were wanting to do. So I'll drop that in chat, and there you go. So feel free to kind of look into that. And if you have any questions from there, I just don't know where the starting point for getting into that. It says the biggest community contribution was the audition. This feature was added and allows you to install your Node-RED dashboard application directly onto your platform, including, yeah, which is basically allows you to do, which I think you're looking forward to. So let me know if you need anything more from there, or hit us up on FlowFuse, and maybe we can put you the direction you're needing to go. All right, back to it. So we had a template here, and we were going through and trying to capture information. So we got that CSS stuff. Failed to load data request. Keywords body. This is just the application. Yep. Do. So we're just trying to find something we can capture pretty easily that uses data that's valuable to us, that we can do something with. And oh, it's right here. So Harry Potter HP. So it's dropping this information and just kind of like a regular old HTML page, which it's serving it up, but I was hoping we would have something that can serve up and respond with JSON that we can find. So let's see if we can find some response that's like in a website, because that's how you would see it, as like the web page would then call another command or call a curl to capture data to then fill out the website. But it seems like this is all done on the back end in that process. It's not like managing it through the website, which is not what we're trying to do. I mean, we could even like serve this up in the application, and that's basically just capturing, copy the curl command, coming down here, dropping that in, and which is basically just the website, and it's just doing a, yeah, not too much fun. All right, let's see if we can find some other website that we can go through and dummy website. Scrape the site to scrape. Let's see what this one looks like. JavaScript. Let's see what this one does. Inspect. Do network. And refresh. Yeah, and this is just basically the same thing, in which you're just scraping the information from the website, just doing an AP or RESTful GET call. We want something more fun than that, though. Dashboard. Um, just find something, some area. Now this is HTM. Let's see if we can capture some data. This is some random lake in Arkansas that I knew a little bit about when I was. So if we come in here and we inspect, I wonder if this information is going to be coming in a happier way that we can JSS. Still looks like it's just giving us the data. Ooh, that's fun. So let's take this data. This one will be fun to parse out. We'll see if we can parse this out and reduplicate this data inside of like a dashboard in a table. That'll be fun. Cool. So we are going to copy this particular curl command. And we'll take that, which is just a website, drop that over here and home. That's gonna bark at me. Perfect. Okay. Let's just clean this up just a little bit. Clear this all out. And message dot complete message object. And we have their payload, which is all the information from that, which is great. And now, I forget the web scraping. Let's just see what we can do with the flow fuse. Capture. Ooh, okay, so let's just pause this for a second and see what this information looked like over here and see if we can glean a little bit more. So capture the response. Here we go. Let's see how it goes. Capture a response that capture a response from a REST HTTP response. Capture the contents of a table from an HTTP request node that does a get from that returns a result that looks like this. And let's see what the Flowfuse assistant can do. All right. And let's see what that looks like. So, table, message.payload, line split, extract, process each data row, and return message.table. I'm not too confident about this, but let's see. Clears. Ooh, that's not looking right. All right. So we really I don't know if it'll take in this much information. It probably won't. Yeah, it won't take in that much information. Okay. Um. So think about this. We have this response. There's a table in HR. Capture all the data that's starts with HR. Capture table from an HTTP and returns all turns all data inside of and get what these are called. And boom. See what it can do from here. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Oh, Cheerio, perfect. I knew that was what I wanted. Fire is not defined in line 2, so that means on setup, Cheerio. Cheerio. Import on message. Perfect. Usually includes that. Deploy. All right, so let's do this again. Use Cheerio to capture data from it's not setting up the I always forget how to do this. So here we go. Import as Cheerio. Cheerio. Done. Still not referencing. Oh. Settings. What? Um. Okay, so I need to figure out what's using npm inside node red. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Yep. Plus. Yeah. I did right. Actually, I don't think this is right necessary though. It's just Cheerio. Done. Deploy. There we go. Cool. So payload constant HR data each index and message.hr data. So we don't have the full payload, so we need to see the full payload because it saved it into a different location. And that's going to be message.hr data. And there's two empty arrays, so it didn't capture the data the way it should have done. See what this one does. Whoop. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, it's not capturing it either. So all right. HR tag is defined as thematic break. Okay. So if I come back here and look at this, so that's an end of a table there. Table class, but then since it like defines the so the table only exists. Oh, my headset's about to die. Okay. Why? So that's not gonna do it either, but we'll just see. Yeah, that's what I thought. And I just did the first one. Didn't loop through anything. All right, let's see. Let's go back here and let's slow down. So we have a table of information that is structured in a way. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, see what we get over there. For example, if the water level is perfect. All right, so it's using regex. I got one. Basically, ChatGPT was able to take that result and create a regular expression. We don't need this. And it's using regular expression to search for this particular case, which is match on this, and then return it. So done, deploy. And we get payload object. Okay, yep. When in doubt, ChatGPT it. So we now have an array which gives us the date, time, elevation, tailwater, generation, turbine release, spillway release, and total release. And so they have two generators for this particular dam. Now let's take this. I'm going to delete this and clean this up a little bit. We'll put this right here. Drop this debug up here for now. Move this out of the way. Let's see if we can create a table for this. Again, okay, so let's look at maybe the code a little bit more. So we're using Cheerio, it's capturing the message.payload, and from here it is passing into a function, and with this it then splits it by each line, and for each line it looks for parts to trim and then looks for this structure here in this regular expression, and then applies it to push. So it basically creates a push to save it to message, or save it to data.push, and it's this format, and parts is what it's cycling over, and then dumping it back into message.payload. So now click done, deploy, and let's see if we can do a table. Oh, we got to install palette manager, dashboard, two. Let's look at Node-RED dashboard, Node-RED dashboard, flow fuse, install. And if you install this add-on, just click install as well. You might get it won't show up. That is something we know about, we're aware of. Don't concern yourself with it. It's something they're working on in the back end. What is going on over here? Nothing. All right. So now we're going to come in and let's put this table in here. And we'll do page one, my group. And let's see. Oh no. Okay. input message.payload, but I want to say message.payload is an array. So let's make sure we get the documentation. Input message.payload. The tail will render a row for each object within an array. By default, a column for each object. Beautiful. I think we might be almost done. And let's see if I can go to the dashboard from here. Yep, dashboard. All right, that's fun. So it's a really easy way to see like the level. So now we've got the date, time, the elevation, generation, turbine release, spillway, total. Let's see if we can expand this out just a smidge. We'll edit the group, and we're gonna do by maybe a 12 by 1. Update deploy. That should expand. Okay, total release, spillway. App is offline ready. Cool. All right, so we've got the date, time, elevation, tailwater, and all the changes associated with it. There we go. We got some generation going on there. Power generation. The elevation of the lake is 460.72. This is where you can start doing math, figuring out how much it dropped in the past 24 hours, have some fun. So I didn't do exactly what I wanted, but I have been able to find a website that kind of returns the data in a format that's what we want. We had to use Cheerio to web scrape it. You know, there's like they might just leverage that API behind the scenes, and so we don't have access to the API because that's what people do is they realize that everybody's going to just try to figure out how they can access that API and don't expose it. So we had to do it the old-fashioned way where we web scraped it. Um, but there's different ways of going about that. We could probably find another website that serves up the data in a way that is more usable and valuable, but we'll maybe find that out some other time. But that's a really quick and easy way to extract a, let's say, a curl and bring it in. But there's going to be times where you might have some additional headers and information that you'll want to leverage to say it's in JSON. So let's say, for example, it was in JSON on this example. If we come over to HTTP requests, this is when you'll kind of want to say the parse JSON object and so forth. And there's some other kind of variables you can include. If there's like custom headers, if like let's say you do have some authentication, you'll need to put that there. But this it just still doesn't solve the problem that I think what Steve was really wanting to get at, which is like basically, can we make something that's pretty much straightforward to do an inject, set the URL, set the method to head. Developer. What is Tibber? Just out of curiosity. Oh, that's a website so you can make your own dashboard. That's what they're trying to do. And if you had, in this particular case, he had his own custom like tokens and things like that he wanted to capture out of it. Copy the two header values and where could we find a API call that we could capture? Most likely weather is all going to be blocked because everybody tries to go and grab weather information. News is going to be pretty blocked because everybody's going to try to do that. We did find one where we can capture the information easily from scraping the data via that water management where they just automatically populated everything in. Let's think about Let's think of something we could do that would be entertaining for us with this. What data could we capture? Anybody got any suggestions? See some people in chat still. Um, I can only think of news, and they always just serve it up just like we saw here. I guess what we can do is actually just go to a weather API tool that we have, which I already have one of those built, which we've kind of done. Let me see if I can find that. ChatGPT fun presentation. I think this might be it here. Basically, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, this is the weather API that I created in which we have let's do that. We'll go through this. I'll show you. We'll capture, export this JSON, copy to clipboard, instance, and import, boop, boop. And we'll go through this one because this is basically if you have like somebody say, hey, I've got a API, and how to just use that and leverage it. In this particular case, we're leveraging an API from Open Mateo, and we'll open that up. So you got an API, and you're like, how do I use AP open? No, open. Yep. There we go. This is the free weather. And so you got a curl command here. And you're like, how do I convert this curl command to something usable? And, we'll just copy this. And you get something like this. You're like, I cannot do anything with that. That does not provide me any value. But it actually does because it's assumed that this is generally speaking, a get. By default, curl is get or post. Pretty sure it's get. Get is the default. So this is get our curl get as so how to do so curl post examples would be like post. Come on, where is it? There's some examples. Post curl it's dash x post, so it'd be dash x get. Where's get in here? But you get the basic idea. So there's a flag, it's defined, but we don't have to define the flag because we know this is a get. And from there you get this API call, and we'll go over that here. My noise canceling headphones just broke down on me because, well, I say broke down, but the power just went out on them. So it will sound a little bit weirder for me now. All right, so let's look at this HTTP request. And what we are doing here is we are defining all of the URL, the method that we're using, the headers, the cookies, and things like that in the function node beforehand. So I've got a function node with var is lat, var is lon, cots, and then we're actually dropping this message.payload.lat, message.payload.lon into these locations, and then moving lat and lon into this API URL that I've pretty much predefined. So let's build out our new custom API URL from this. So let me see if I can log in. See, I know I've available APIs, API docs. Oh, and this is what I use. I've said, okay, well, I'm going to drop my latitude in here and some configuration, but I wanted to make it variable about which latitude and longitude. And then once I finished doing this, I believe I had like a submit button that it created for me at the bottom. And this is all the documentation to do this. Really cool tool. And is the finalized non-commercial use less than APIs. Load chart. Yeah, and so basically when you define it, it basically gives the curl response, open a new tab, copy this into your response, yeah. And that's that's how I was able to get all the parameters that we needed. And if I look at the parameters now, I have my latitude and longitude that I dropped in there. My hourly, I wanted in temperature 2 minutes, I believe. Or what does 2M stand for? 2M stood for 2M, and we can just define all the variables. And so relative humidity, I wanted to capture the surface pressure, the wind speed, the wind gusts, Fahrenheit, and the precipitation, the time zone that I wanted to define that in, past days, and how many days I wanted to look back. And those are variables I created, and I dropped that into the inject node. So message.payload.lat, message.payload.lon. So this would be easily able to then, like I say, bring that into your system. So, or make that defined. So you can make this as an API call. So think about it from this perspective. If you wanted this to be the front end, or say back into some other system that you want to pull on. So let's say you have to create some custom application. You could say HTTP in. So you can call from somewhere else that just passes in only three variables: the latitude, the longitude, and the latitude and longitude, and then would return all the information back for you in a different system. So that's one of the neat things you can do is you can essentially kind of cascade API calls to get what you need and simplify things. So then the next step is it brings in that get. It already knows it's a get. Its URL it brings in. It drops in any headers, which we didn't have any headers. We just were dropping in configuring the message.url. We defined the method as a get. And then we did a function in here that configured this in a way that is beneficial to dashboard 2.0 and brought that into the system. So when I click deploy, if I now go to my pages, I should have a data visualization in which I can see all of that information. So let's switch this up and look at 10 days or something like that. May not be able to go that far, so let's do 5. Click done, deploy, close, inject. So now I'll get the last 10 days of information of historic wind speed. That seems a little high to be 90 miles per hour, but it's probably a issue with oh, that's temperature. That's not historic wind gusts. Yeah, so there's some things that need to be adjusted in this, but you get the concept. So temperature is in the 90s, which has been pretty accurate from where I am. And that's Fahrenheit. And then the low temperature has been somewhere in the 65s at night around 11 p.m. But that actually probably has shifted a little bit. But a lot of neat little tools. I think that's because if I open this up, my settings for my geographic location for my node red, so where it thinks it is, if I go to editor, on my time zone, I need to define as Eastern Standard Time. New York, where are you? It's in alphabetical order. I should be able to figure this out. New York. And then when I click Save Settings, restart the instance. So let's go ahead and restart it. And we'll probably close out for today. So I didn't get as much accomplished, at least not in the sense of actually being educational, but we did answer some questions in the chat. If you have anything else that you want to do, join the Discord. And please drop questions in there, and we'll go from there. Like, just an easy way for you to stay in touch with us, figuring out what's new's coming. And so now, when I click this inject node and I go to my data visualizations and the temperature, in which should be about 3 a.m. That's more like it. Is when we're gonna be hitting our lowest point in temperature. Awesome. Glad you were able to join. And if you have any, and again, you want to see more details like this, if you actually have an example of you're like, hey, I've actually been trying to pull something out of a different system, be happy to figure it out with you. If I don't know, I got a lot of people in the that I can reach out to that can help us out. So we'll see you guys next week. I usually try to jump on here about 11 a.m. Eastern or noon around that time frame, and then I'll jump on for about an hour. Just an open opportunity for you to come in, ask questions. I'm hoping to have some kind of theme. Again, just something that's entertaining and create some opportunity to tease out some questions from you guys. So, you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you next week.